I spent $25,000 to learn how to talk. Name the last time you went an entire day without saying a single word. It's something that we use every day of our lives. Now name the last time you actively worked on getting better at it. So is it ridiculous to spend $25,000 to get better, or is it ridiculous to ignore the one skill that determines our income, relationships, how our kids see us, and whether people even take us seriously when we walk into a room? The highest earning, most influential, most respected people in the world, their primary skill isn't something technical, it's their ability to make us believe what they believe. If your favorite YouTuber dropped a product tomorrow, would you even need to ask if it's a scam? Gandhi weighed 100 pounds and moved an entire nation. Charles Manson, and I just want to be clear, I don't condone any of this, convinced ordinary people to take other people out so that he didn't have to do it himself with just his words. One is a hero, one's a monster, but they're using the same mechanism. If you're looking to improve multiple areas of your life with one skill, it's this. I paid somebody $25K to teach me. Here are 3 things that changed everything. First, people don't listen when you tell, even if they're facts. People only listen to you when you make them feel, even if they're lies. Growing up in the summer, it would get so hot in our house to the point where I was like breaking out in rashes, heat raging from being sweaty, itchy, and sticky because we couldn't afford to turn on the AC. I would literally splash my face with water, sit in the dark, try not to make any movement, and sitting in front of a fan on high blasting in my face. My uncle would get so mad because I would fall asleep like that and he was afraid I'd get sick. I never cared until he told me this one story. There's the story of this healthy young woman that came home from working all day. She was exhausted from being out in the heat, so she went home, she turned on her fan, but she was so tired that she accidentally fell asleep and never turned it off. One minute she just laid down and closed her eyes, the next minute she woke up and could not move her body. She was fully paralyzed. She lived alone, so there was no one there to help her, and there was no cell phones back then. She was just stuck there and eventually died a slow, painful death from starvation. From then on, I never slept with the fan on again. Literally, until just a few years ago. An old Asian superstition had more power over my belief than my uncle ever did telling me what to do. He had no data, he never gave me any proof. He just made me see it in my mind, and I believed it for 20 years. So here's the thing, people don't just listen to you when you tell them to do things, even if they're facts. People will only listen to you if you make them feel a certain way, and it could even be a lie. This is why people with bad intentions can build a cult-like following. They don't just tell you how it is, their descriptions paint a picture in your mind. Quick question, have you ever described yourself as a visual learner? Almost everyone is, because when humans can see, they believe it. It takes it from all these unorganized thoughts to something that's material. That's why the best way to build influence is through storytelling with such great detail that they can visualize it. But making people feel is just the first layer. The second thing I learned is what makes people actually remember you. Let's dive into that, but first, if this was helpful, hit subscribe. People remember those who changed their beliefs. Think about the last conversation that actually stuck with you, the one that you still think about today. I bet it wasn't someone agreeing with you. It was someone who flipped something that you were certain you were right about. When you confirm what someone already believes, the brain just files it and moves on. There's no reason to hold on to it. It didn't update anything. But when something challenges your belief, the brain treats it like a problem that needs solving. It stays active, it feels resistance. That's why the most controversial things that are said are usually the ones that are remembered. This is literally why Donald Trump gets into everyone's head. He says things that are so polarizing, and I'm not saying go piss people off. The difference is Trump is memorable because he's polarizing. You want to be memorable because you're challenging. There's a big gap between the two things. Polarizing tends to divide people, challenging people tends to change them. But if you can change a belief that someone does not want to hold on to, and you can give them proof, that's when they see value in you and remember you. It's not that people don't want to believe they can become millionaires. They want to believe it, they're just skeptical. But if you break down the plan step by step and each step logically makes sense to them, their belief will change even if they haven't made a single dollar. Then they remember you because you're the one that took them from that's not possible for someone like me to I can actually see how this would work. So now you can make people feel, you can change their minds, but none of that matters if they checked out 5 minutes ago. Which brings me to the third thing, which is the most underrated out of the three. Third, you want to involve the audience. Have you ever sat in a lecture and you just wanted to tear your eyeballs out so that you had an excuse to leave the room? Someone that was extremely monotone, just reading you facts, while you sat there in silence, slowly dying inside. Humans can only take in small amounts of information at a time, especially when they're all delivered the same way. That's not even a focus problem, it's neuroscience. Your brain is constantly scanning for change, and if there's no change, it just goes into standby. Remember this: pattern interruption re-engages attention. And one of the most effective interrupts is switching them from someone who's listening to engaging. Ask them questions, make them speak. And this is an absolute cheat code. Ask them undeniably agreeable questions, something they can't say no to. Something like, who here wants to make an extra $1 million? Who here wants their kids to have financial freedom? No one's gonna say no to those things. Every time you get someone to say yes, their guard drops lower and lower. And once you give them that pattern of things to agree to, now their ears perk up and they're listening to you. Because people don't resist people they agree with. This is your moment to challenge them and change their beliefs. So next time you speak to people, try this. Get them to agree, then drop something that's probably hard for them to believe now, but follow it up with logic. Seriously, these frameworks of speaking is literally what changes your ability to sell, build relationships, parent. It does everything. Because now you've made them feel, engaged them, challenged their belief, changed their mind. Now you have a die-hard fan. There is nothing more important for a career in influence than speaking. But if you want to learn how to monetize your influence and knowledge without trading your time for money, watch this video right here. It's gonna explain why coaching one-on-one can't scale, and here's what to do instead. If you want me to help you scale your online coaching business, I'll leave a link in the description to schedule a call. Hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.